So good to see you. I miss you so much. So glad it's over. Yeah, I miss you so much. So good to see you. Yeah, I miss you so much. So glad it's over. Yeah, I miss you so much. Welcome to another horrid, terrible, despicable episode of the Apocalypse. Congratulations for choosing the Apocalypse, by the way. And since you have unwisely chosen the Apocalypse, you are in urgent need of a guide. Unfortunately for me, I happen to be that guide, your humble guide, all the way from the nether region. Death to your humble guide, Nicholas. It appears Donnie is living up to what they call 1,260 days of abominations or blasphemies uttered. But I'll get to that. Let us begin with this. For this had people quite upset. By people, I mean Bibi and Donnie, etc. The New York Times. Britain, Australia, and Canada formally recognize a Palestinian state. What'd you say, son? Out of nowhere, the majority of Europe, Australia, and Canada say, yeah, Palestinian state. Wow, that's a hell of a counterpunch to what's going on. And it's the one thing that Donnie and especially Bibi do not want to fucking hear about right now. And Bibi is not thrilled with this. I'll get to his retort for this move. And this was a move. This is Europe, Canada, and Australia moving a chess piece saying, fuck you. Palestinian state to go along with your resorts, gold Donnie statues, and your attempt to take over the world. Uh-oh. This could start a war right here. Everyone taking sides on this. Palestinian state, yes or no? Are you with Israel, yes or no? This could start fucking World War III, just this alone. But man, it's a big fuck you by some of Europe, Canada, and Australia to Donnie, to Bibi, and to Vlad. And this is Donnie in the talks. And he's talking about how he stopped a war. And this is a new war that no one's ever heard of. We stopped the conflict between Cambodia and Armenia. It was just starting and it was a bad one. Now, if you never knew anything about history whatsoever, the second you heard a war between Cambodia and Armenia, you'd probably start to lean like, well, that kind of sounds like bullshit. That's not a war I've ever heard of. Yeah, because it never happened. Again, Donnie's 80, dementia, whatever cocktail they got him on. And Donnie's so used to in front of crowds and in front of you good people just pulling whatever comes out of his ass and putting it in front of you. And, you know, that's reality, or that's worth listening to. We stopped the conflict between Cambodia and Armenia. It was just starting, and it was a bad one. There was never a war between them. They're 4,000 miles apart. That's what the commenter is saying. Yep. Yeah, the second I read that, I knew, I was like, there was never a war between Cambodia and Armenia. What the fuck is he talking about? Donnie just throws these names of countries out there. I stopped 37 wars. Armenia, Cambodia, Thailand, Singapore. So sad. Again, you gave your country and our world to this vapid black hole of nothingness but grift and lies and murder. Ugh. Donnie being interviewed today, and it looked like this. Will you fire Pam Bondi if Letitia James is not indicted? Again, the post I read you yesterday that the whole world was like, oh my God, I can't believe he posted that publicly. That's how comfortable Donnie's getting, or he posted it by mistake, or he did it to, you know, sick the mob on Miss Bondi. I'm really leaning towards it was a mistake, but so that's why the press is asking this question. No, she's doing a great job. Have you ever threatened DOJ leadership if they don't prosecute Letitia James or James Comey? Donnie says, no, I don't do that. He literally did that with his post yesterday. If there wasn't an exact threat in it, it was, again, put in front of the mob. I said that as well. That thought occurred to me later on when I thought to myself, well, why did he address it to Pam? And then I said, well, Donnie's, you know, put people on, I don't know what you call it, blast publicly, so the Rubes go after them and pressure them. Mike Pence is a great example. The Rubes wanted to hang him, all because of what Donnie said on J6. That Mike wasn't going along. We even got 97-year-old old-ass, senile-ass Grassley here for when we pick Mike up and take him somewhere. Good thing Mike didn't get in the limo, huh? Who knows what would have happened to him? Mike knew that. That's why he didn't get the fuck in. So in my opinion, that post yesterday was literally a threat to her, either private or publicly or both. No, I don't do that. You literally just did it yesterday. Donnie again, another interview, Fox, in all his mahogany glory. I think water fishing, I think almost anything we have to get into a boat right now in that area would not be doing too well. Donnie making, again, cracking jokes now. This is, I don't know, about the 50th time I've heard someone from the right crack a joke about maybe you don't want to take your boat out in that part of the world anymore because we might blow you out of the fucking water. That's a punchline now. That's the end of your country. You want to be a country that does that? Because I don't. And again, these people laugh about it. They make punchlines out of murdering God knows who and God knows what boat. They're basically saying, yeah, we might make a mistake and blow a fisherman out of the water, you know. Ha 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 ha. It's a punchline. Not if you're in the boat, son. It ain't no punchline. Could you fucking imagine? All to get that oil in Venezuela. That's all this is for. Or get a puppet in there so we can get that oil. Either way. Donnie, again, there's a piece of scripture I'm going to show you later because I keep being reminded of it every day by Donnie. I'm like, how can one person, I thought this during the first term as well, but this time it's like on steroids. They're just really going for it. How can a person spout this many blasphemies, abominations, evils in one day, consistently, over and over? How can that be someone's existence? I don't even understand it. Yet this person is doing it every day, consistent, nonstop. So he's really living up to that piece of scripture I'm going to get into at the end. I've never seen anything like it. It just appears he wakes up with a desire to do evil and hurt people. Every day, ever since I've seen him make this, public entrance in 2015 into this world. Here's another great example. Remember Joe Biden has cancer? What's the right-wing machine and the Reich and all of it been saying? Tone it down. You people are inciting violence. You're being mean. Blah, blah, blah. Don't call us this. Don't call us that. You ready for this? And this ain't the first time, son. Trump in the tuxedo at the podium. I don't even remember if I showed you. I digressed so much. Very evil and very mean Biden. You know, Biden has always been an evil guy, but he has never been a smart guy. Again, is Donnie talking about himself here? Because it fits perfectly. Even 30, 40 years ago, he was stupid, but Biden has always been a mean son of a bitch. He's not doing well right now. So when you start feeling sorry for him, remember that he's a bad person. Says the Antichrist, says the convicted felon, says the one that wakes up and his first desire is, who can I hurt today? Can I lie about? What crime, grift, lie can I tell? How do I hide this Epstein shit? Oh my God, what I just read you. I'll just wait till we get to the scripture part. And again, that's not the first time he's given that little speech about Biden, and don't feel sorry for him. But we should all not talk negatively about Charlie Kirk, right? Don't say anything mean about him. But we can say horrid, evil things about Joe Biden when he has cancer at a podium in front of everybody as president. Okay. Leon Scum was spotted with Matt Gaetz at the Charlie Kirk Memorial. Well, who else would he be hanging out with? Matt's his kind of guy, I'm sure. For many reasons, for several reasons. I won't get into it. There's Leon. I told you Leon didn't go nowhere. He's still a big part of this world. And he had things to say at the funeral. Quotes he thought up and practiced. Leon helped build this Reich. He's still a player. He's still got tons of fucking money and welfare. Most of the money he has is from you, welfare money that you gave him. He helped build this thing. He helped get Donnie to the position where they could build this thing. He's always going to be around. He ain't ever going to disappear till the end. Neither will Donnie. And Leon wouldn't let that tragedy and the chance to draw attention to himself and a chance to stoke the fire and really get the Nazi Reich going. And again, that's not drama. I don't use the word Nazi for fun. I use it because they believe it and they do Nazi salutes and they're implementing Nazi policies. That's all. Trump on the TikTok deal. Again, he's doing a little Fox interview. This is going to be some great news. You ready? A man named Lachlan is involved. Lachlan Murdoch. Rupert is probably going to be in the group. I could tell he was loath to say it out loud because he knows everyone can see right through all that. That's why I said a man named Lachlan instead of just Lachlan Murdoch. Rupert is probably going to be in the group. So we've got Lachlan, we've got his daddy, we've got who, God knows who else, what other right-wing oligarchs will now own Fox News and TikTok. Not that TikTok wasn't already a right-wing hellscape, my God, and I got thrown off in a month. And I got a big 2,500 views on one of my videos. That's how scared of me they are over in the hellscape Chinese propaganda site. Well, now it's going to be a right-wing, American-owned right-wing propaganda site as well. Not that it wasn't already. So the Murdochs, again, the people that stirred the pot that ended up costing $750 million because of defamation about our elections. Those are the people that are going to own TikTok now as well. Your country's over, son. I'm sorry. Again, I don't want it to be. I take no pleasure in saying that. I don't want to scare people. I'm just trying to be honest with you. I'm trying to guide you through what is really happening. That's all. And it's quite depressing, actually. But, someone's got to do it. Most people have no idea of these concepts and what's actually happening, going on. And that doesn't make me smart. That just makes me, I looked into an area of study that most people wouldn't waste their time on, and I don't blame them, honestly. When you got to work 8 jobs for a 1-bedroom for, like $3,000, $2,000 a month, it doesn't leave you much time to do nothing else, and that's exactly the way the oligarchy like it. This is a person, look, I am not too deep into this. I just find it interesting that someone that does this for a living is saying this. Allegedly, there's talk that the bullet, there was no exit wound for Charlie Kirk. A bullet shot by a rifle, very fast, very powerful. So people are saying there was no exit wound. Now someone's trying to explain that. People from Charlie's group are trying to explain this. That the bone stopped the bullet or something. I'm not a gun expert. I'm not a surgeon either. I don't know. I'm not an expert on the human body. A lot of people are saying that's bullshit, that bullet would have had to have come out. That bullets fired from those kind of rifles, if it was a certain kind of round, there's no way it would stay in the body. It would go right through. This is a person that's done some work on humans. They're a doctor. Having drilled, sawed, and operated on tens of thousands of people over the last 25 years, I can confidently say no man has bones of steel. While I have seen shotgun pellets embedded in tissue, there is no high-powered round, like the .30, that could have been stopped by his spine, also prevented an exit wound. This round takes down elk. For goodness sake, something is fishy here. Again, it's not me saying that. That's this doctor saying that. And again, I'm not like all looking into this. As far as I'm concerned, the guy's gone. And what are they going to use it for? That's really what I'm focused on. But when I hear a doctor say that, now it makes me wonder, what really is this fucking thing? Are they going to trot Charlie out and say he's, risen from the fucking dead or something? I wouldn't put it past him, son. Again, it's a doctor saying that's worked on bodies for 25 years and knows what different guns do to people and different caliber of bullets and, from what weapon they're fired. I don't know, man. Something sound a little funny. This is Donnie. He's going to class up the place. I really haven't talked about this much. Donnie's going to have a UFC event, and it's going to be right in front of the White House. That's what it's going to look like. Keeping it classy, having the bread and circus right at the White House. Maybe Donnie gets a cut that way or something. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. So Gavin in Rubespeak is talking about how Donnie's classing up the joint. Next year is America's 250th birthday. Countless patriots have paid the ultimate price for our freedom, but instead of honoring them, Dollar Donnie will be making money for his UFC boy. That's what happens when you elect a shoe salesman. Trump is for profit, not for America, sad. And plus it's the White House, man. What's next? Are we going to have a monster truck event on the front lawn? I don't know. A lot of you wanted a 3-year-old with a God complex in charge. You thought that wasn't going to hurt you. Boy, were you fucking wrong. Israel said it categorically rejects the declaration by the UK, Canada, and others recognizing a Palestinian state. Well, of course, I expected that. I expected Bibi to fucking have a stroke, actually. Because it's the last thing he wants to think about here. No interest in it. So, of course, Israel said, yeah, we're not. Fuck all you. You're saying fuck you to us. We're saying fuck you to you. We're not even recognizing it. So that's where we're at with that. They are registering people to vote at a funeral. What the fuck? Imagine if Democrats did this. Yes, I believe the Charlie Kirk thing was today. There's all kind of different events involved, and there were fucking pyrotechnics and a whole thing. And his wife was able to take part. Starting to remind me of the mobsters again. With the amount of energy and things they're able to do and say and post, and who they're able to call, what performances they're able to put on. So shortly after their beloved soulmates die. Like this woman. I don't know. Everyone grieves differently. Is that what you'll say? Is that what you'll tell me? This is an account called The Persistent, so they're with the MAGA thing. And let me not go there. They appear to be part of a certain lifestyle. Let's just put it that way. On the way, I will help register to vote as many of the attendees tomorrow as humanly possible. Thank you, Tyler Bauer, for the opportunity. Let's get thousands of new voters registered for Charlie at literally his funeral event. They signing people up to vote. MAGA, I guess you could describe it as one long, never-ending grift and rally. This is just a random commenter. Most fun part of the Homan story is no one seems to deny that he accepted $50,000 in cash in a kava bag from undercover feds, just whether anyone should care. Indeed, everyone keeps catching cabinet members and people part of the right-wing grift machine that are in power right now committing crimes. And MAGA has a choice. They could either condemn it or they can say, we don't care. We like our criminals. And that's what they've been saying. We don't care. We like our criminals. Well, son, since you like your criminals and you've given them the keys, your empire has fallen. When you see the totality of the fall, you will weep. We all will. That's not an if, that's a when. And that's not 20 years, more like 5. This thing is over. Chuckle now about what you've done. Because you're going to be crying later, son. Everyone will. That's a promise. And it won't be because of me or anyone else. It'll be because of you. Only you. That handed this thing the keys. So yeah, no one's denying Holman took the fucking money. The real argument is, should we care or not? Well, if it was a Democrat, you know goddamn well you'd care, right, son? Of course you would. But, you know, since it's the guy in charge of the guys with massive machine guns kidnapping people, well, we can overlook that. Jesus would let it slide, right, Roops? Of course he would. Jesus was all about forgiveness. Unless it's a Democrat, right, Roops? This is Ron Filipkowski. Trump can threaten, yell at, pressure, cajole Pam Bondi anytime he wants in private. And I'm sure he does all the time. All he has to do is pick up the phone. But the one yesterday he posted on social media, why go public with it? Same as always, to put his mob on her. I thought of that too. When I was driving around, I'm thinking, why did he address it to Pam? And it's like a public post. And then I realized, well, whenever Donnie doesn't get his way with someone, even someone on his team, he puts it out in front of the rubes. And then they act. And by acting, like, you know, building gallows at the Capitol to hang or intimidate the vice president and the Congress into doing what you want them to do. Or, excuse me, what Donnie wants them to do, because you were just an empty, vapid nothingness of an automaton, a soldier for a con man who never did a second behind bars, but you did. So, I'm more leaning like by the fear when they ask him about that post specifically. It feels like to me like he didn't mean to. But Ron could be right. Donnie could have just said, I want her to do this. My usual formula is put it out before the cult. And if she doesn't act in a timely fashion, then, you know, maybe the cult persuades her a little. Donnie's a mobster. Never forget that. You've seen the tactic over and over and over again. So Ron could be right here. But again, by the fear, Donnie kind of shows when they ask him about what he said in that post. It kind of seems like maybe he just looked at it quick and he thought it was his other post and he just signs it DJT and posts it. By accident. He's still, you know, 100 grifts, 100 lies, 100 concealments going. Again, Donnie's the type of guy that's got to spend a good portion of his day concealing his crimes, lies, grifts, whatever, agendas. Again, we got a window right into his mind with that. Whether he meant to post it or not, I'm still leaning towards I don't think he meant to post it. But Ron is right. Even if he's not right in this case, that is Donnie's preferred methodology. And I had the same thought yesterday before I presented it to you. I was like, what? You know, I'm thinking to myself, because I'm going to present it later. What was he trying to achieve with this? Did he mean it to be public? To sick the rubes on her? Did he fuck up and post it by accident? Because it's really bad. I'm still leaning towards it was an accident. Donnie might not see too well anymore either. I assume he doesn't. I assume he has problems seeing. So, again, he could have looked at the post. Maybe he thought it was the other post, because that had Pam's name as well in it. And he just signs DJT like he always does and slaps it up without realizing. I don't know. Or again, he was trying to sick the cult on Pam, like he did on Mike, on J6. The British government has revised its official maps, now labeling the West Bank as Palestine. Uh-oh. It's the apocalypse, son. All these decades and decades. When are we going to do that two-state thing? When are we going to recognize Palestine? When are we going to build that temple? When are we going to do this? When are we going to do that? We doing it. The world, that is, not us. They're doing it. All those things they talked about for decades. Gaza's ash. Gazans will be removed. When have you seen that happen? Never. So Europe's really, they really given, again, Vlad, Bibi, and Donnie the straight up middle finger. I talked about this yesterday, but there's more details here. This is like one of Satan's demons stealing from him. Literally. Because I can't think of a man that's more evil than Vlad Putin on this planet right now that I know, a public figure. I can't think of one. Now, Donnie would be just as evil if Donnie didn't have the guardrails to contend with at first. He's removing them all at double quick time. So they're going to be gone eventually. Vlad doesn't have that problem. Whatever he wants happens. And he's evil as fuck. So is this some attempt as a mobster to steal more money from an organization, but kind of cloak it and look, I am the good Christian Vlad taking money from the Satanists? Is that what this is? Is that what this attempt is? Russia announced it will seize assets of international Satanists, adding the movement to a financial blacklist and allowing the state to freeze accounts without conviction. In other words, the mob in Russia is just going to take that money. And they don't give a fuck about Christianity or Satan or any of that bullshit. Because they evil as fuck. Especially Vlad. So it's just an excuse. And then, all the good Christians, good, take their money. Evil Satanists. No, that's still stealing, though. Vlad took $100 million from Google. I despise Google, and they despise me, but, that's still stealing. It just is. But Vlad is the top mobster on the planet. If he wants it, he gonna take it. It's that simple, whether you're the monolith Google or whoever the fuck you are. If you Satan even. One of Satan's very own highest level demons, Vlad Putin. Stealing Satan's money. Shit. You could make this the fuck up. Okay, this is BB. And he looked like this as he gave the address. He doesn't look very happy, does he? Last thing on earth he wants to hear or see is Palestinian state right now. A Palestinian state will not be established. The response to the recent attempt to impose a terror state in the heart of our land will be given after my return from the U.S. I have a clear message to those leaders who recognize a Palestinian state. After the terrible massacre of October 7th, you are giving a huge reward to terror. And I have another message for you. It will not happen. A Palestinian state will not be established west of the Jordan River. For years I have prevented, Bibi says, the establishment of this terror state, despite enormous pressures both from within and from outside. We did this with determination, and we did it with political wisdom. Moreover, we have doubled Jewish settlement in Judea and Samaria, and we will continue on this path. The response to the recent attempt to impose a terror state in the heart of our land will be given after my return from the United States. Wait. Bibi looks really pissed. So when him and Donnie are meeting, obviously in the near future, they're going to be discussing how to rebuff this, how to solve this. I don't know what the fuck they're going to do, but they're going to do something. Maybe this is the straw that breaks the camel's back and Donnie just says, fuck it, put American troops in. We're not going to play with Europe. We're just going to do our thing, and we're going to do it right now. Since Europe wants to make a move, we'll make one of our moves early. That's the type of shit I don't see coming. All of a sudden, Europe, Canada, Australia banding together and saying, Palestinian state, we recognize it. We're going to put it on the maps right now. Oof. That's a big fuck you to Bibi, Donnie, and Vlad. And others. This is Leon. One of the things he said today, but this is a post. They murdered our emissary of peace in cold blood. Message received. Leon stoking that fire, trying to get that civil war, get that Reich really rolling. They murdered our emissary of peace. First of all, there's no they. Just one white kid from the woods with his grandpappy's rifle. That's what they tell us. That's what the Reich said. Way over the top. Way over the top. Message received. That's him saying, well, you know, we'll do something to you. Again, the richest man in the world, he could be spending his time and money doing really powerful, wonderful things. Instead, he's a Nazi and he's trying to start problems in the United States after he got thrown the fuck out as co-chancellor. They murdered, no, one white kid from the woods who grew up in a MAGA family. That's all. I'm still waiting for that transgender roommate. Haven't seen him yet. I'm still waiting for a real verification on them text messages too, even though they're in court documents, because they were reproduced. But, you know, Stephen Miller, Leon, they're taking us to this fantasy place. And just spouting it as if it's real. Again, the kid that shot at Donnie, one white kid with a fucking AR-15, I believe. The guy that shot at Kirk, one white kid from the woods with his grandpappy's bolt action. I don't know, I'm not seeing the big liberal conspiracy, but this is a Reich and they need one, so they got to manufacture it. Okay? That's what you're witnessing. Just like in the 30s in Germany. Same exact thing. These people are not creative. Their whole identity they stole from Adolf Hitler and Mr. Goebbels. Everything they say and do, they stole from Adolf Hitler. The playbook, they stole from Adolf Hitler and Mr. Goebbels. These aren't creative people. These ain't smart people. They're just running with a playbook that was written by a guy named Adolf. That's all. Nothing else. The whole cabinet was at the Kirk funeral thing, so it wasn't, you know, theater at all, right? Right, guys? And that's what it looks like. All of them are there. They got their own special box, I guess. Even drunk-ass Hegseth showed up. Looks like he's right there in front, too. And this person said, amazing how they all cleared their schedules for Charlie Kirk. But when classrooms full of dead kids needed them, they sent thoughts and prayers. Indeed. We don't have events like this for kids when they die in a school shooting. In fact, congressmen, you know, wear their AR-15 pin the next day to really say fuck you. That we're of Satan. After children are gunned down. What's funny is the anger from the group that really care about this. that people dare bring this up all the time. Hey, the children of America are being gunned down. Can we do something? Can we at least get the assault rifles off the fucking streets? At the least, can we do that? The animosity that comes back at you for daring to suggest such a thing. Do you know what that is, son? That animosity that you send back at people when they want to protect children? That's called Satan. Just to let you know. So again, we don't have the whole cabinet convening for school shootings. I don't know. I think our priorities are really fucked up, especially on the right-wing grift side. When you're wearing a pin that a pin of a gun the day after a school shooting instead of a pin of a child, for instance. Yeah, you're walking the wrong way, son. And you walk in, I don't know, hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder with Satan. That's what you're doing. Sad. So sad in dying America that these events have gone on so often and they continue to go on. Stephen Miller doing his Goebbels impression. My God, this was this big moment. He was hamming it up so bad. He was doing his just best Goebbels impression he could do, acting like there's this huge left-wing group that's responsible for this, and we're going to get a... Oh. They cannot imagine what they have awakened. You thought you could kill Charlie Kirk. You have made him immortal. Most people don't even know who Charlie Kirk is because they're not into politics. A small percentage of the population is into politics. And even some of that percentage doesn't really know who he is. So, give us a break here. And again, Stephen's up there trying to promote this idea that there's this grand conspiracy against them, the Reich and Charlie. And it's the evil leftists when no, it was just one white kid from the woods who grew up in a MAGA family with his grandpappy's fucking bolt action. That's it. Have they trotted out the transgender roommate for you yet? No? I wonder why. Disgusting, too. A guy's funeral is used for this. Building a Reich, giving speeches in the image of Goebbels, which Stephen Miller, I'm sure, idolizes. Acting like this is some big moment to fight back against some conspiracy against them. No, maybe if you people would have been tougher on guns all these years, maybe that kid wouldn't have got there so easy with a bolt action. I don't know. Thought it was a game. Charlie himself preached that stuff. It's worth, what he say, a few sacrifices to have the Second Amendment, and by sacrifices he meant a few deaths. We sure have more than a few. And it ended up costing Charlie his life, some guy with a gun. Trump's mega donors and the owners of Fox News will control what you see on TikTok. This is a random poster. Leon Scum, who gave Trump $290 million, controls what you see on X. Trump mega donor Mark Zuckerberg controls what you see on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. Social media is now a right-wing op. Well, it's been a right-wing op for a long time, except for a few websites. Now they've gotten those few websites. There's really not much left-wing owned anything anymore. I mean, like nothing. That's intentional. Because the right-wing machine at the top They don't like democracy anymore. They want to steal all the money. They've stolen most of it. They want to steal it all. And they don't like rules, and they're tired of it. They want a free labor force. They'll get that from the homeless and the starving, which is what they're trying to create more of. We'll have more camps, and they won't just be for illegal immigrants. They'll be for Antifa. You. If they call you Antifa. That's all they got to do. Most of the media is owned by the Nazi movement, I'm going to call it. They know what Leon and Donnie are doing. They're funding it. They're running blocks for them as if this were a football game by buying the websites and social media. Remember, Leon and Vlad and Puff Daddy and all of them bought Twitter years ago. This has been going on for a long time. They're getting the last bits they didn't get yet. They want to go full Reich. That's why they're doing it, to help the agenda along. They ain't putting this kind of money out buying these networks. I mean, do you know the money they put out to do it? So they must expect a really big return. And the return is, yeah, we're down with the Reich and the movement. We like no more democracy. We like free labor force or forced labor. We like automation and AI runs everything. We like the surveillance state idea. We like, because, we ought to steal all the money then. We only stole about, 85% of it so far. Why let the peasants have anything? Right? Social media is now a right-wing op. How many, all these websites mentioned, by the way, no matter who owned them, they were all taking the Russian money, son. So if they were taking the Russian money and putting up the Vlad ads and platforming the heavily financed influencers and letting the 8,000 bots run rampant on their website, well then yeah, it was a right-wing op. The Rubes fell for it. And it was all done by public relations firms and Vlad and India and China, their bot farms. Again, 70% of the traffic on X is fake. 40-some% on the other websites, all the social media. So yeah, it's been a right-wing op, I guess that's a great way to put it, for a while now. 20 years, they've been taking the Russian money. This is the end result, loss of the empire, and a lot of them will lose their companies and standing in this world as a result. Because the mob's in charge now. They're going to take whatever they want. They've already had the major tech bros, tech companies, social media companies at the table several times for tribute. Donnie will want more, much more. You thought you could control that monster. I know. All you major companies out there. I know. You think you're smartest because your bank account is largest. That doesn't make you smart. Trump, here he is at the podium. I guess it's the Charlie Kirk thing, because Donnie got to turn it into a fucking Trump rally. Charlie did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponents, and I don't want the best for them. I can't stand my opponents. Yeah, we know. I told you he's the Antichrist, right? I mentioned that. If you're a politician and you are at a podium in front of people, you never say something like that. Just out of sheer decorum for the little children's and everything. At a funeral event, making it about him, of course, doing it, doing his lean and all the things he does. It's so contrived. It's the most cringe fucking thing watching him give a speech. Every breath and movement is contrived. It's always goddamn theater with Donnie. Talk like this, then talk like this, then talk like this. It's just, there's just nothing there. There's nothing there. And he just gave a speech at this funeral event where he's making it about him, where, well, Charlie said, you know, he wanted the best for people. I hate them. Again, I'm not looking for these things. They pop up in my feed, and I'm just... When I saw this, I was like, what is this, WWF SummerSlam? Or is this a funeral event for her husband? Erica Kirk taking the stage. What is she thinking right now? Look at the pyrotechnics and everything. You should have saw her walking out as it's going off when you watched the footage. This is a funeral, right? A memorial event, not a monster truck rally, not a WWF SummerSlam event, right? Look at her all dialed up on the stage in front of everybody. Boy, she's so strong. This is a kind of from behind view. All the pyrotechnics going off in front of her. It's just absurd, man. Random poster. The Turning Point USA Memorial for Charlie Kirk has turned into a Trump rally. Yeah. And a platform for Goebbels, Miller, to give his big, historic speeches in his mind. And do his Goebbels impression. It's real exciting. It's turned into a Trump rally. Yep. Someone's making a joke here. Leon is sitting right next to Donnie at the event. Don't they look cute? Look at them back together. Chancellor and co-chancellor, Antichrist and false prophet back together again. I told you Leon wasn't fucking going anywhere. Like a goddamn leech, you can't get the fuck rid of him. He's still getting welfare, son. That's your money. And someone made a joke. Sorry I called you a pedo. Could you reinstate the EV credits? Right. Leon's soul is about them EV tax credits. I guarantee the conversation happened. Hey, I'm sorry about all that pedophile. I had a little too much Special K that day. I'm sorry, Donnie. How about reinstating those EV tax credits? I think that would be a good idea. I could totally see that conversation happening. I told you Leon wasn't going anywhere, right? Right next to Donnie. Leon helped build this Reich. It's just as much his as it is Donnie's. And we on this ride with the two of them till the end. Unfortunately. Unless I'm wrong, and hell, I'd love to be wrong, and it doesn't go the way I say. And we're not on the ride nearly as long. And it goes in a different direction. Great. I'm down with that. But it won't. Okay, almost every day, and especially lately, because my God. Again, he just talked shit on Biden for the second time at an event. I read it to you. Saying don't feel sorry for him. For the second time. There was this piece of scripture I keep mentioning. I've talked about it before. 1,260 days of blasphemies. This is part of where I get like the 3.5-year time frame from when I was saying that back when he first got re-elected, whatever fucking happened. I took this to mean when he comes back into power, this 1,260-day period would begin. But let me say this, to give you another perspective. Brother James Key, the only preacher I respect right now for this stuff, who knows scripture better than me, who's a better teacher than me, if I were to be a teacher. But I just got this feeling, man. Brother James says we probably have less than 10 years or about 10 years. Donnie has to get his full Kingdom Reich going. I can see where he's coming from with that. I just have this urgent feeling that it's much less time than that. And scripture seems to have the tribulation, and again, I didn't realize that till, I don't know how many years ago, a few years ago, based on events that were going on. It appears the tribulation may be broken in half. 3.5. 7 years, 3.5, 3.5. Now again, when Donnie was president the first time, we did have a plague that shut down the entire fucking world. One could say that was apocalyptic. Now some people used to ask me back when that was going on, Nick, is this the biblical plague? I'm like, I don't know. I would think there'd be a higher death rate. I don't know. But it did shut down the whole fucking world, son. So that first 4 years could have been the first half. I don't know. Something feels different about this time. And he's got Thale and Leon right there with him. We had the co-chancellor, just like Germany in the 30s with Adolf, was co-chancellor. Now the opposite happened here. In the 30s in Germany, eventually the co-chancellor Adolf was able to get rid of the leader and become the leader. This time the co-chancellor got a foot up his ass and booted out. Because he's dealing with the Antichrist. That's what he doesn't understand. Or maybe he does. But obviously Leon thinks he can beat the Antichrist. That's why Leon said the things he said once shit was getting shaky. Once he realized he wasn't getting his EV tax credits. When Donnie's never been about electric cars, but I guess since Leon figured, I got this guy on a leash. No. That's why you don't see Leon much anymore, even though he's still in the picture. Brother James says his assessment of this, once Donnie got back in power, was we probably have about 10 years. He needs time to get his real world kingdom set up. But I don't know, from second one, people were running to his feet with tribute. None of it was right. What I'm trying to say is that Donnie already thinks this way, that he runs the world. The President of the United States, basically, you're in charge of the most powerful empire in the world. You do run the world. You could look at it that way. Or you could look at it, well, it's not until the mark and he's got his world kingdom set up, and then it'll be 3.5 years of blasphemies spoken, uttered. I don't know. It sure feels like Donnie's living up to that part of the prophecy in spades. Every day, just blasphemies. Doesn't matter. Sunday through Saturday, however you say it. I've never seen anything like it. It keeps making me think of this piece of scripture. So Brother James thinks it's a more like a 10-year time frame, that Donnie needs more time to get the world kingdom set up. I felt a sense of urgency when I started believing and realizing that, yeah, he may get back into power. I don't understand how after he tried to overthrow the government, but whatever. Because I really thought he had no chance for a long time. Boy, was I dumb. Boy, did I underestimate how many there are just like him. So I Googled the piece of scripture because I don't know the Bible word for word. I'm not one of those people, and I never will be. I got the idea, and I spent years on it. Reading it, pondering it, listening to different lessons on it. So this 1260 days piece of scripture, it's a time frame. It's 3.5 years. Conveniently half of 7. Presidential term is 4. I find that interesting. So AI gave an overview of what this whole thing is, and I was like, oh, cool. I don't have to put it into words. I could just read this. It seems legitimate. From what I know, nothing contradictory. And then I'll give you the actual scripture. So the statement, he will spout blasphemies for 1260 days, that's what I wrote in the search, refers to a prophetic period in the book of Revelation found in Revelation 13:5 and Revelation 12:6. This 1260-day period, equivalent to 42 months or 3.5 years, symbolizes a time of tribulation and persecution where a powerful beast is given authority to speak blasphemous words. The beast is often interpreted as a powerful opposition to God figure, sometimes linked to a political or religious leader in the end times. No, the beast is one part of the evil trinity, and I know it sounds stupid, but it's real, man. Which would be Satan, the beast, and the false prophet. Everything's a mockery of God, Christ, what it stands for, how it operates, who they are. Satan's number one desire, above all, to be worshipped as God. If he can't, then he wants to take as many souls and this creation away from God and ruin it all. That's it. In the story, he tried to stop the birth of Jesus Christ via otherworldly beings coming here and mating with females to corrupt a specific genetic line. That's the story that they don't teach in church, son. So now you know what the 1260 days is about, where the theories about it come from, the kind of context around it. It's part of a prophecy in Revelation about end times, about this beast figure who's going to be spouting blasphemies for fucking 1260 days, and Donnie hasn't missed a damn day, son. Oh my God. So here's the actual scripture, and we'll start with the King James, and I'll give you a few other translations, because that can help. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. So when you heard me back in the day, months ago, say 3.5 years, that's what I think. That's my theory. Am I giving an exact date? Of course not, never. I wouldn't even bother trying. But a time frame, a generality. Again, Brother James says he thinks it's about 10 years. Donnie needs more time to set up this world kingdom. I'm not feeling that. And there seems to be a sense of urgency with these people. Like they know something's coming. A deadline, something. So there's this prophecy that once this thing gets into power, he's got 42 months of authority and to spout blasphemies. I've never seen an entity like Donnie who does spout blasphemies every single day, multiple times a day. So it just feels like to me, we're going to wait, till Donnie's crowned king of the earth or something? As if you're not king of the earth when you're president of the United States? When you literally pretty much are? And he's spouting these blasphemies every fucking day. The most vile shit. So he's going to do this all this time, and then there's going to be another 3.5 years where he does this? I don't know. Again, what I'm personally feeling, and I'm not saying I'm right and Brother James is wrong. I'm just saying this is what I'm giving you. Based on what I know, my experience. Based on my ability to teach you. Based on me personally and the feelings I get. From the ether here. From what I see. I don't know. It seems like Donnie's doing whatever he wants to do here. Any country, wherever, whenever. Getting tribute from Qatari princes of sky mansions, building ballrooms. There's also a treaty that's made. This is widely discussed in the prophecy, hermeneutics and teaching and all that. For decades. A treaty made with Israel that is broken halfway through. Again, that's 3.5. So this 3.5 number keeps popping out here. In several different aspects of prophecy for this end moment. Again, no one truly knows but God, but one more time, I guess I'll just say this. This is where I got it from. One aspect, there's other aspects in Scripture why this 3.5 year period, this short time, this short amount of time in the grand scheme, feels right to me. This is one of the places I got it from in Scripture. What I'm basing it on. Because Donnie fulfilling this every fucking day already. My God. So one more time. My time frame, a vagary, not a specific, to the letter, to the day time frame. 3.5 years from the time he got the keys back. That's what I'm feeling. Of course, I could be wrong. Brother James, roughly 10 years. Donnie needs more time to get it all together. Just to me, it seems like they were treating him like they knew he was the Antichrist the second he took office. Mika and Joe run in there. Bill Maher went to have a talk with him. Every CEO, Google, Meta, all of them went and threw $1 million at his feet. They've given him more money since. Major companies are saying, let's just pay him off via settlements. That's what he's looking for anyway. I don't know how much more power you can really give him. But again, this story talks about a time where everyone on earth will have to take a mark or they will not be able to participate. That would probably require one currency, which would be Donnie Coin with the 666 or fight on it. We'd have the image, which would be AI. That would be Donnie's version. Altman's handling that right now. He's gotten the contracts. Money has moved. Altman is doing it. I'm sure Leon wanted that contract, but oh well. So I just wanted to show you one of the things where I'm getting what I'm telling you from. That I'm not just basing it on nothing or basing it on a feeling, even though that's part of it. I'm using this as a guide so I can guide you and me. 42 months speaking blasphemies. Power was given to him. That's why I keep saying, like, it's kind of inevitable. There's no stopping it. I'm not saying don't fight. Don't, you know, what you want to speak out, whatever. That's your right while it still lasts before he takes it away from you. I'm not saying just lay down and give up, but prophecy is prophecy, and if it's happening, if we in that time, and it's written, it will happen. And any plan that attempts to thwart it would fail. Just like Stauffenberg and the brave men that tried to take out Hitler. It wasn't the ordained time for whatever reason. I'm not God. I don't know. I personally believe Hitler was supposed to go out the way he did in that bunker by his own hand. That's the way the story was supposed to end, and no matter what, it was going to end that way. I believe that personally. I don't think he escaped to Argentina. So let's read a few other translations, and then I'll end this thing. This is J-U-B, whatever Bible that is. Jubilee, I don't know. And there's like a million different Bibles. And there was given unto it a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto it to continue 42 months. Specific time frame given. AKJV, I guess that's the American? I don't know. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. The LSB, and there was given to him a mouth speaking great boasts and blasphemies, and authority to act for 42 months was given to him. The LEB, and a mouth was given to him speaking great things and blasphemies, and authority to act was given to him for 42 months. Personally, I like the KJV the best, King James, but you should look at other translations because they can really help sometimes. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. There's a reason I'm reading this and repeating it 9 times. And that is the end. Now you understand partly where I got my assessment and time frame from. Because Donnie sure seemed to be living up to it, son. This peace deal with Israel, well, that could be seen as started any day. It could have been seen as started last month. Donnie and Bibi are partners now. They're going to develop Gaza. They're going to go forward together for a while. Until he turns on them. They are Nazis, son. They are of Satan's son. Who has Satan always gone after since the beginning of time? That'd be the Jewish people in the story. Throughout our own history books. Never forget that. That's what Donnie and Leon and the Reich are. They play in protector of the Jews and Christians right now, son. That ain't going to last forever. My God, the reversal on that. You will see. When they get us down to when they can see who the real Christians are, that ain't going to be a good time for us. That's when the mark comes and you can't avoid it anymore. You either say, yeah, I'm down. With God, I mean. Or you say, fuck it. Yeah, I'll worship the devil. Fuck it. Whatever gets food on my table. When that time comes, it will be very bad for the people deemed real Christians or not on the side of the Antichrist. It won't be a good time for Jewish people either. Because the two groups hated most by their daddy, and I mean Donnie's daddy, Jews and Christians. So in the story, there's also this. The Antichrist makes a deal with Israel and then reneges halfway through. Again, what does renege mean? Well, again, they are Nazis, son. We saw the Nazi salute. We're seeing the policies. They ain't hiding it. So who they going after? When they separate the wheat from the chaff with the mark. When they renege on Israel. Let me stop there. When the mark comes, you must say no matter what. Now you know one of the things I base my time frame on. I based it on many things, but this really stands out to me. And I don't know what would be worse, 10 years, a slower process, or 3.5. It's all horror, man. And allegedly, according to the words, there's some beautiful things at the end. Unfortunately, we are only of this realm, and we have no concept of what those beautiful things could be or will be. We read descriptions, but that's nothing. So, I really hope, since all this evil, horrible shit is true, I hope that other stuff is as well. But there's no way for me to verify or know that. As much as I'd love to believe. Because all I know is this realm. Just like you. All I know is what is promised and what I see before my eyes. So again, if the horrors are real, I'm really hoping the good part is as well. I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. As always, I'll put the PayPal in the comment section, 9 hours when this uploads. Have a wonderful evening. Until the next time.